good? What's good? What's good, y'all? This is Krill from Out the Box. I am back. I'm back. I'm back, y'all, for another video. I've been away from the video screen for a bit, but I felt like it was fitting to do a show tonight, just a just to talk with the people tonight. I've been doing a lot behind the scenes of Out the Box. I think the last time I did a video, or maybe sometime a little while back, but definitely in this year, I had mentioned to y'all on the video that I relaunched my website, outtheboxmedia.com, to become sort of like a music blog. So I've been really active and busy with that. I've been, really getting involved with that and making sure the that blog is updated every day, because there's been a lot of music that's come out in the year already. We just like literally going into the middle of February. So I felt like it was fitting for me to do a video tonight just to recap some of the music that's come out already in 2022. And I want to also talk about some of the music that's come out already in February as well. So like I'm gonna talk about what came out in January, but also what's in February. And my whole style is like, creative or conscious hip hop, right? And I want to be very clear on why I make that position. I'm pretty sure I've mentioned it before in the past, but like I said, I think hip hop is very powerful. It's a very important art form, and I think that it's important that we push the hip hop that folks might not get a chance to hear about, but even more important, the hip hop that has some level of substance to it, right? Whether it's a creative approach where the music just comes across so unique and you could tell that the artist put thought into the music, or it's just a uplifting, inspiring, or just generally thought-provoking approach where as you listen to it, you feel like you could relate to it, or you feel like the music resonates in a very meaningful way. So that's the type of hip hop that you will mostly get on Out the Box Media, the Out the Box platform, the website. So when you come to the website, you'll see creative and conscious hip hop because that's the focus, right? So I know there's a lot of hip hop that comes out, but I choose to focus on the hip hop that has that thoughtful approach. So the projects that I'm going to talk about today are a combination of EPs and albums, but they have either that creative or conscious approach in terms of the music sound. All right. So yeah, we're gonna get into that a little bit. I actually put together a little slide for y'all to check out with some of the music. But I do want to encourage those that are tuning in right now to make sure you go check out the website, outtheboxmedia.com. It's now running as a music blog. So what that means is that every day I'm posting new music, right? New hip hop music. I'm gonna try to get some soul in there as much as well. But it's just so much hip hop that's out there that I've been putting out a lot of hip hop. But I want to also bring in some of the dope soul music as well. But the main thing is that it's going to be new music. So if you were ever someone that was like, man, I feel like hip hop is not like how it used to be before. I'm tired of hearing, the ratchet hip hop or the hip hop that's not about uplifting our people, or it doesn't have a good message to it. Like if you're somebody who wants to hear that hip hop and you want to hear the new stuff that's coming out on a daily basis, this website will be very helpful in putting you on to the new music that's out there. I do a lot of research and I put in a lot of effort to bring that new music to you. All right. So yeah, man, definitely feel free to subscribe on the platform. So if you go to the website, outtheboxmedia.com, if you go to the subscribe tab, you can subscribe. Now, the way I set up the subscription is that I didn't want to like bombard you with every post that I make, because sometimes I got like 5, 6, 7, a lot of posts in one day. Some days it's less posts, some days it's a lot. So I didn't want you to be like, every time you get a notification, it kind of like, you're getting all those notifications throughout the day. I didn't want to disturb you like that. So what I do, when you subscribe to the website, you get notifications for like, just like the highly important stuff. Like when I make a post that I feel like, okay, people need to know about that, right? Or like newsworthy stuff that is like important to know. you know um that's what you'll get the updates for, and I usually do a number of that. But I didn't want to like bombard people who are on the email list where every time I do a post you get a post. I want to work on something like that for people that may be interested in that, because I don't want to like not have a system for people who might be interested in like knowing every music post that I do. But I felt like it might just be too much for certain people. So the cool thing is, though, if you keep coming to the website, like I encourage people to come to that website as often as possible. If you could come to the website once a day, I know that may seem a lot, but as much as you can, even if it's not once a day, like maybe 2 times a week, and you get a chance to like scroll through, it's a real good way to keep updated with new music that's coming out. The other thing that you can do is subscribe to our Facebook pages. So if you go to Out the Box Media on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, straight Out the Box Media, those social media platforms will also keep you updated with all of the new music posts that I do on the website. So you don't necessarily have to come to the website back and forth like directly. You could be subscribed or following. You could be following, let me correct that, you could be following the Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter Out the Box Media pages, and that's another way to keep updated. All right. Listen, man, I am a fan of hip-hop culture. I love what I do. I enjoy sharing the music. I enjoy when I'm able to do music reviews, even though I haven't gotten a chance to do that much. I just did a music review for Killer Priest's new EP entitled The Three Fantastic Superman Epics. And that's up on my other YouTube page, Out the Box Media. So go check that out if you get a chance, because I have a few YouTube channels. I got this one, the Out the Box TV YouTube channel. I got the Out the Box Media channel, which is really for music reviews. And then I have a Krill Inspires channel, which is for like, insight on podcasts and, just guides on how to perfect your podcast strengths if you're trying to get into that field of interview podcasts. Because as some of y'all may know, I wrote a book entitled Creating a Successful Interview Podcast, a how-to guide. So I try to share like verbal video guides on, tips you can utilize to develop a successful interview podcast. So that's that channel. All right. But this channel is like the one that I utilize a lot. This is probably the most, this channel has the most followers, the most subscribers, and also the most views. And this is where I do the interviews and I do my impromptu shows, so yeah, man, get in wherever you feel makes sense in terms of the channels. So yeah, I want to go through some of the music today, man. How are y'all doing? I know we are live right now. We might not have a lot of people live right now, but if you are tuning in live, like the video, so that we could get more people in. But if you're catching this video after the live, definitely feel free to engage in the comments, because the music I'm gonna talk about today, some of y'all may know of it and some of y'all may not know about it. And the other thing I want to emphasize is that if you have heard of music that has come out already that you think is really dope that I did not include, then definitely put it in the comments, or if you're watching live now, put it in the live stream. All right. So yeah, man, let's get to it. I think that's like the main thing I wanted to talk about. I also did put out an EP this year myself. As some of y'all may know, I put out an album. My debut album was put out in December, called Growth and Balance. So it's my debut hip hop album that I rhymed and I actually produced as well. And I also put out an EP. I want to say a couple weeks, was it it was on the 29th of January. I put it out. It's a mini EP, and it's called um Compassion, Unity, and Healing. And it's only 3 songs. It's only available on Bandcamp right now. I'm looking. I'm not sure if I'm going to put it on digital streaming at least yet. I may put it on SoundCloud, but it is available on Bandcamp for you to go check out. So that's a new EP I put out. It's 3 songs. I produce all the tracks on there, and yeah, man, check that out. That's another thing I wanted to mention. And other than that, it's just been the blog, man, just really pushing this blog, outtheboxmedia.com. I mean, I really enjoy sharing new music. I'm trying to find a nice balance with it because I find myself doing it like taking a lot of time on it. So I might have to pull back a little bit, but you're still gonna get consistent posts, and for the most part, you're gonna get a post every day. So yeah, man. So let's get into it. I want to talk about this the top my favorite or the best hip hop albums and EPs that came out in 2022 so far. I'm going to focus specifically on the month of January, but I'll also talk about some stuff that just came out in February as well. And the other thing I want to mention to y'all is I created a Spotify playlist where every month I will be putting together a list of music that came out in that month, of creative and conscious hip hop music that came out in that month that I thought was dope, and I want to share so that other people can check out. So that Spotify playlist, I'll actually put it in the description of this video, but it's also available on the website outtheboxmedia.com, where you can click on the post that I talked about with the best hip hop albums and EPs of 2022, of January 2022 so far. You'll find the Spotify playlist. It's also on the social media. You can find it in so many different places where Out the Box Media is, but you can definitely go to the website and find it. Definitely go check that out, man, and let me know, what y'all think about the music. All right. So we got the playlist, we got the website, the blog, we got the music reviews, and I'm gonna resume Out the Box Talks interviews probably in March. I know I'm taking a little while, but there's so much going on, and I still got to get certain things right. So look for the interviews and Out the Box Talks stuff to happen probably like in March. But I'm taking my time with that. I'm gonna be honest with you, because I did a lot last year and it was exhausting. And I want to make sure that I'm right when I'm coming back and I don't start and stop. So in the meantime, the blog is what's popping. So stick with that. All right. So let's get into the music of 2022 so far. I'm gonna throw up this image real quick. Let me throw up the links. So as you can see in this image, that's just kind of like a how you say, like a collage of some of the the projects, which consist of albums and EPs that I think are the best projects so far in 2022, but really for the month of January. All right, so we're gonna go through it, and we're gonna pretty much all of these projects are within the slide, so I'm gonna just kind of like go through them. And like I said, if you're tuning in right now and you want to share what you thought was dope, then definitely feel free to comment on that. You know what I mean? Yeah, man. Word, what's up? In Zoo Taibo, I hope I'm pronouncing the name correct. Yeah, man. What's up, man? Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, so we're gonna talk about Shay Noir. We're gonna talk about Killer Priest. Yeah, I was that Killer Priest EP really shocked me. He's like used to putting out a lot of projects. Like every year he puts out a number of projects, but this project really, really intrigued me once I heard it. So that's why I did the music review on it. So if you go to my other channel, Out the Box Media, you'll see a nice music review I did on it. So yeah. So let's jump into it. All right. So I got my little slide up. Usually I don't do the slide. Oh, I also put up the Cash App, Out the Box Rap. for Cash App, and then paypal.me/outtheboxmedia. So if you appreciate what I do, you love what we do with the platform. That's not just the YouTube channel, but even the website, like, and anything else that I do that is beneficial to you, and you like what you see, and you would like what you hear, and you would like to support the platform, feel free to donate. All right, so word. Word, no doubt. Thank you, Izu. Yeah, man, I was so intrigued by that project. So let's go into it. So as you can see, this is my list right here at the top. These are just a few projects. When I do these collages, I honestly, it's so much more albums that I want to put. I feel like I might have listed about 39 projects that came out in the month of January. That's how much projects. And I'll be honest with you, I haven't had the time to listen to all of them thoroughly. Like, it would be, I just haven't had the time. But I've listened to them enough to say, oh, okay, I like this. I think this is worthy of a slot of, best creative and conscious hip hop albums of the year so far. So yeah, honestly, I'm gonna have to go back to some of these projects and be like, yo, let me just revisit them. So let's throw up the first joint, which is the Killer Priest, the Three Fantastic Superman Epics project. It is a EP. It's like 6 tracks, and it's very, very well, in terms of the duration, it's short. So it's like about 11 minutes and like 27 seconds. And the thing about it is that, in terms of, even though it's short in its duration, it doesn't come across that way. Like, he goes in from the jump. Like, he just really takes you into this story of these supermen, right? And there's like these 3 different characters who represent these supermen that he gives like a concept to. And the production is awesome because it sounds like superhero production. It sounds like you're watching like a DC movie, right? But it's just in rhyme form. So I gotta give him props for this one. Is his lyrics are not as dense as some of his other projects, because I feel like the concept and the storyline takes away from it being so dense, right? So like, you can really understand most of what he's talking about. And there's humor in this. There's a human element to these Superman characters as well that makes it sound dope. So I got to give it up to Killer Priest with this EP, The Fantastic Superman Epics. It's out now on digital streaming platforms. Go check that out. It is one of my favorite projects that came out in the month of January. I think it came out like early in January too, like January 3rd. This project right here is from a group called, well, actually it's 2 artists, 2 MCs. They known as T Nice and Jirai, and they're from North Carolina, I believe. And the project is called Supreme Talk. Right off the bat, when I heard this project, I was intrigued by the beats. It has a very like sort of like a boom bap, flavor to it. So I always like boom bap hip hop, so that already reeled me in. Their music is boom bap soulful. A lot of the music is very relatable. It's thought provoking. It's very like people relatable. So if you into like, how you say, Little Brother and that kind of vibe, I get that vibe with this project. And I have to say, man, it's one of those projects where, you know, like when you like cleaning up in the house, or you doing something that may not, that requires like, your other attention, maybe your visual attention. Like, this album hits in that way, and I'm like, oh, this is dope. Like, I could dig with this. It's people relatable. The beats are dope. It's boom bap. It's hip hop soulful. It's pretty straightforward, but I like the effort. So big ups to T Nice and Jirai, Supreme Talk. It's available on Bandcamp, but it's also available on digital streaming platforms. The other thing I want to mention is that if you go to my website, outtheboxmedia.com, the post where I talk about the best hip hop albums and EPs of January 2022, I have links to all of these projects that you could link to. All right. So if you have a hard time finding it, you could always go to that post and it'll link to it. All right. So let's go to the next one. Shay Noor. And I know brother Inzu Taibo just spoke about that. And he spoke about the Shay Noor project. I made a post the other day. I don't know if it cats that may be familiar. I have a hip hop group in Facebook. It's called Hip Hop Thinks Out the Box, and it's on Facebook. And so if you want to join that group, just send submit to the group if you're on Facebook. It's called Hip Hop Thinks Out the Box, OUTDABOX. I had made a post stating that I felt like Shay Noor was like the best female MC currently today, right? And I wanted to be clear on why I said that. I'm not saying she's the best female hip hop MC of all time. I mean, currently, like right now, her level of output is unlike any other female MC right now. And shout out to Rhapsody, because I still think Rhapsody is like still one of the best period in this day and time. But I gave the crown to Shay Noor currently because she's just been so consistent. And every time I hear her, like her voice is so commanding. Like, she has a way with her voice and her vocals. Like her flow is dope as well, but her voice is very commanding, and you could just hear the energy. Like you could really feel her her struggle or her pain or her, just real life, message that she shares in her music when you listen to her. And that's what really makes her stand out. And I love the fact that she's been so consistent. So I want you to I say this to sister Shay Noor, continue doing what you do, sis. I love what you do. Keep putting out that dope music and keep it authentic. I think her album with Apollo Brown was a really, really good effort. And I would love to hear more music like that from her. I think the new project, Food for Thought, which is the one that we're talking about now, is a really solid effort from the first track in. I like it. Of course, my favorite album out the two is probably the As God Intended project with Apollo Brown. But this is a dope project as well. So go check that out. It is one of my favorite projects in January as well. So yeah, check this out from Shay Noor, Food for Thought. I think the beats are dope. I think her ability to just be a clear MC, right? Have a really great flow and just be people relatable to, right? She stands out on all areas. So shout out to you, Shay Noor. Keep doing what you're doing, sis. The next project is actually still only on Bandcamp at this current time. So if you are looking for this on the digital streaming platforms, you probably won't find it. It's only on Bandcamp right now. It may come to digital streaming platforms sooner or later, but all I can tell you is on Bandcamp right now. And this is from Ill Conscious and Mute One. So Ill Conscious is the main MC, and I believe Mute One is the producer. It's called Acres of Diamonds. I'm gonna be honest, I haven't gotten a chance to listen to this one like completely through, but like from the first couple singles that I heard, I was like, yo, this is dope. And just Ill Conscious is just really, really clever with the lyrics, man. Like he's very intricate. The beats sound really good too. They have like a boom bap, but a cinematic, soulful kind of sound to them. So it feels like I feel like this is a project you could sit with, you know what I mean? Like, and it's like bars on top of bars, man. Like, if you are familiar with Ill Conscious, then you know, like, this guy lyrically goes in, and he does his thing on this project as well. So go give it a listen if you get a chance. It's on Bandcamp. And I gotta say, I do search for a lot of music on Bandcamp. So a lot of times I'll find music and I'll look for it to see if it's on the DSPs, the digital streaming platforms, but often it don't be there. But eventually most of the music gets there. But check Bandcamp out, because I really like what Bandcamp does for, like, independent artists, and giving them that opportunity to be able to, you know, connect directly with the fans, and the fans can support them directly. So yeah, check out Acres of Diamonds by Ill Conscious and Mute One. This project right here, The Wolf on Wall Street 2, is by Your Old Droog and the God Fahim. Now, this one is called The American Dream. So this is the part 2. They did put out part 1 last year around this time, and that album actually made my top 10 list. I think it was like in my top 5 of favorite projects or albums of 2021. So when I heard that they were coming out with this one, I was really excited because I really liked that one. Now, this one, to me, it's not as good as the one before, but it's good, right? So, like, I think when the God Fahim and Your Old Drew come together, they have a chemistry that really, really works. And I love how both of them can be so, like, clear in their rhymes, and like there's a knack to that. Like we talk about MCs that are like super lyricists that can rhyme a bunch of words a minute and just be clever with their lyrics and be so intricate. But these guys are really good too, and their bars just come across so effortlessly. Like, it's just so clear. The flow is, it might be slower, but everything hits on point and is so sharp. And what's so dope is, like, you'll catch things that's so, like, people relatable in the music as well. So I like this project by Your Old Droog and the God Fahim. It's called The Wolf on Wall Street 2, The American Dream. The beats are solid. I like the beats on the first one more, the one that came out last year, but these beats are solid as well. So I think it's a solid listen. It's not a lot of tracks, and I don't think it's a lot of minutes neither. But I think it's a good listen. So check that out. The next one is this album by Corday, and this one is entitled From a Bird's Eye View. I actually did a review on this album as well on my other YouTube channel, Out the Box Media. And I don't have much to say about this album other than, like, I think it's a solid effort. Corday reminds me a lot of J. Cole in terms of, like, if I had to think of someone who he sounds like, and when I say he sounds like his voice doesn't sound like J. Cole's voice, but he has a vibe that's similar to J. Cole, and I like it. I like this album. He has his unique sound. Let me say that. I was just saying that his vibe is similar to J. Cole, but he does have his own unique sound. I like this effort from him. I think it's very well rounded. You kind of get a glimpse into what is happening in his world, like what how where he is at this point in his career. I like his just authenticity and just his ability to just be real on this record. And so you have like the how you say the mainstream records on here. You also have like the very reflective, introspective records, and just overall soulful effort from him. Like, if I had to sum it up, like, it reminds me of like a really good J. Cole album, and I think if you are familiar with Corday, I think you're gonna like this album off the bat. But if you're not, and you're just into like just really good music, like, I think you'll walk away appreciating this album too. So shout out to Corday, From a Bird's Eye View. Let's go to the next one. So this one is from Act Proof. So some of y'all might be familiar with Act Proof. They were down with Jamla Records. And I don't know if they're still connected to Jamla Records and Ninth Wonder. But they put out an EP entitled Between Us and the World Part 1, right? And this was definitely a solid effort to me. Very boom bap. If you're into like the music that the Soul Council usually produces, like, that Ninth Wonder and his production crew, the Soul Council produces. Like, if you're into like Rhapsody's type of sound, like they do this. That like this sound is that, like, they straight up boom bap, soulful, Ninth Wonder, Soul Council type of sound. The music, it's not a lot of music on this, but I could vibe to this, right? It's kind of similar to the T Nice and Jeray album, and it just really just is straight up boom bap, and you can vibe to it. So check this one out, by Act Proof. This other project is by an artist that I got a chance to interview recently. His name is Really Existing Now, but he is short Ren. So, but when you go looking for him on the digital streaming platforms, just type in Really Existing Now. And it's a album called From Me to You. So I got a chance to interview him on the interview I did through my Music Breaker campaign that I had going recently. And it was really dope to build with him, man. And I have to say, I really like this album from him. The beats are very rich. There's some very good like a few storytelling rhymes in here, and I just like how authentic he keeps it. It's very like people relatable, very thought provoking. But what I think really stands out is like the richness of the beats. So I really like this effort by Really Existing Now. Go check out the interview I did with him, where he talks about his journey, to become an MC, and he talks about this album as well, and some of the music on the album, and just a lot of like really interesting things to know about him. He's actually a MC that's from the Midwest, and he has a very interesting story, man. So go check the interview out, but also go check the album out. It's entitled From Me to You, from Really Existing Now, also known as Ren. All right. The other, okay, so this one is actually an EP. So that's why I included like albums and EPs, because there were a combination of EPs that I really, really liked, that I was like, man, I didn't want to like separate the list. I just felt like, let's just put everything together, because like some EPs to me are like more fun to listen to than certain albums. So I didn't want to like separate them. I wanted to give everything its equal shine. So this is another EP that I thought was really dope. This is from an artist, I believe he's from Philadelphia. His name is Q3, and this is called Disguised Blessings. Now, this EP is only on Bandcamp. I also believe he's a producer as well. I'm just learning of him, but I know from the little research I've done, it seems like he's been definitely doing this thing and has a buzz already. But I like it, man. I like it. I like the production. I like his relatable rhymes, his thought-provoking rhymes, and I like his voice. His voice is very like in your face, like it hits right away, right? Like it's not one of those voices that you kind of like gotta take your time to get into. Like his voice is definitely strong, and he puts a lot into his lyrics, man. So go check this one out. I still gotta go back and listen to it some more. I know that Navy Blue is featured on this, and I believe he might have some production on this project as well. So it was cool to see Navy Blue on this. So yeah, man, I like this one. It's called, again, it's from Q3 is the artist, and it's called Disguise Blessings, and it's available on Bandcamp. The next project I want to talk about is from a sister named Glow Shines. She put out a project called Mosaic Multiverse, and it is on Bandcamp currently. This is another project. It's an EP that is only on Bandcamp. Off the bat, I usually scroll through Bandcamp to find out about new music, and I'm gonna tell you, it is a little taxing because I'm like scrolling through, like, and then I might hear something and I might give it another listen. And I'm like, okay, I'm not feeling that so much. It's okay, I'm not feeling it so much. Let me go to the next. But the night that I found out about this project, I was like, yo, this is really dope. I like it. And I love to hear sister MCs. If you notice, I give a lot of recognition to the female MCs. I've done a number of interviews with female MCs, and whenever I hear dope female MCs, I love to give them their shine and their recognition, man, because they they are extremely valued in hip hop, in my opinion. And this project was dope. It's a short project. I think it's about 7 tracks, maybe 6 or 7 tracks, but I like it. She is definitely bringing that thought provoking, you know, thoughtful, uplifting hip hop to the forefront with this project. The beats are very rich on this project as well, man. So I think it's one of those projects that you could get into right away if you're into um just open-minded about thought-provoking hip-hop. I think you'll like this one. And it's again by an artist by the name of Glow Shines. I believe she's from the DC area, and the project is called Mosaic Multiverse. Go check that out. It's only on Bandcamp right now. All right. And it's also produced by Judah on the beats, and there's a special guest, J Word, on the project. All right, next project is from a good brother that I'm very familiar with. I actually had him on the platform for an interview. His name is Brandon Isaac. He put out an EP. So it was like a short EP. It's entitled Still Healing. And it was initially released on Bandcamp, but now it's also on digital streaming platforms. But you know how I do, man. If you like the music, I encourage you as a supporter of good hip hop to go cop that project on Bandcamp. You know what I'm saying? It's not a lot of money from what I understand, and if you like it, support the artist, man. But if you ain't got it, then you could always catch it on digital streaming as well. I really like this project. It's short, but it's very people relatable. It's he really goes in his bag on this. The production on here is really nice as well. I know Freeman has a beat on here. And there's another producer. His name is escaping me. Let me see if I could pull it up. Sometimes when I do this, man, like I'm gonna be honest, man, I'd be scared that I forget like who the artists are. I mean, who the production is, and just like information. Let me see. Let me see if I can pull that up. But I know Freeman is on this. He did a beat on this. Okay, so the next producer is J Bell. So it's really just J Bell and Freeman. Freeman did the track The Intangibles, and that's probably my favorite track on there. I mean, it's a short track. Every track on here is under 3 minutes. So it's a very short project. It's 4 tracks. But I also like Sentience and Balance, which is produced by J Bell. And like I said, man, Brandon Isaac really is good at just being just bringing you into his world and letting you feel kind of what he was going through, his pain, his struggle. And his music is very relatable, man. And I just appreciate the artistic effort that he puts out all the time when he releases music. Some of y'all might know him and Freeman put out a project last year entitled The North Star. And I got a chance to interview them for that project. And they were gracious enough to actually put me on the album. So when you tune into that album, you hear me on the first track kind of introducing them. So I have so much love and appreciation for those brothers for doing that. But yeah, man, check out this new project from Brandon Isaac entitled Still Healing. It's on Bandcamp as well as digital streaming platforms. All right, the next project is EP. It's another short EP. It's from Lil Black Kids. It's entitled Planet of the Blues Part 1. So it leads me to believe that there will be a Part 2 to this, which I'm all for. And it's from Georgia Ann Muldrow and another artist by the name of Keith Rice. Together, they're called Lil Black Kids. They both did the production on this album. They collaborated together, and they also did vocals on here. And I mean, it's just a solid effort. It's like a mixture of like hip hop and soul, and it's very thought provoking. It has a very nice uplifting vibe, even in terms of the production as well. And I think if you're a fan of like what Georgia has done in the past, and just like what they're doing together as a duo on this project, I think you'll really like this project, man. It's really dope. It's short, but I think it'll grasp your attention right away. I think let me see. I wanted to do like favorite tracks. Actually, if you go to my playlist, my Spotify playlist, you'll see kind of what I think are my favorite tracks from these projects. But I will mention what was my favorite track on this project. I think it was called Planet of the Blues. That was my favorite track, which is the self-titled track, right? So yeah, go check that out when you get a chance. And if you are tuned in live, please thumb up the video, like the video, make sure you go support. Yo, shout out to Enzu Taibo. Thank you, man. I appreciate your support, man. Definitely, big ups, man. And anyone else out there that has been rocking with me on YouTube or on social media, wherever you rock with me, I appreciate you. I'm trying to keep this platform rocking, so continue to support us. All right. All right, let's go to the next project. I got a lot of projects tonight, man. So, man, I don't know. Yeah, so this one is by Thought Provoker. He has a project called The Process. It's an album, actually. It's on Bandcamp. I first found out about it on Bandcamp, but it's also on digital streaming platforms. I actually heard about Thought Provoker for the first time through what is it? The boom bap chat that there was a chat that I would be a part of on Clubhouse, and they told me about this guy, Thought Provoker, and he was actually in one of the chats, and I was just scrolling through Bandcamp, in January, and I noticed that he put out a project, and I was like, oh, let me go check it out, and I was definitely feeling it, man. I really liked what I heard with this project. So big ups to Thought Provoker. You did an awesome job with this, man. Like, it has a very boom bap, soulful vibe to it. Very people relatable, very thought provoking. It's in the vein of the T Nice and Jirai project that I was talking about earlier. That's entitled Supreme Talk. So, if you just like straight up thought provoking, relatable boom bap hip hop, I think you'll appreciate this as well, man. So go check that out. The Process by Thought Provoker. This next project is a new project from Coda the Friend. He put out this project. I feel like it comes across like an album, but I think it's under 30 minutes, so it might be classified as an EP, but I guess I went with it as an album. Very solid project from Coda the Friend. It's called, what is it called? I'm sorry. Let me make sure. It is called Lyrics to Go Volume 3. And he's very, very he taps into what he's been going through, and his challenges, and really shares some of his challenges and his experiences, his pains. Really goes there with this project. So it was just like very like real, like in terms of what he was offering music wise, man. So check this one out, man. To me, it was a really solid project, and it's also available on digital streaming platforms. The beats sound really good too. The beats sound very, how could I say? They're subtle. It doesn't sound like, it almost sound like I'm hearing a lot of beats that don't, if I'm not mistaken, because I don't have the music playing in my ear right now, but they sound very like they're stripped of drums. So you can really get into his vocals, the beats really center around his vocals. And it's one of those albums that just kind of just flows. You don't even realize that you're like in the middle of the album. It feels like it's just one full listen. Like, it's not tracked. Like, there's no separate tracks. It just flows from beginning to end. So yeah, check this one out by Coda the Friend, entitled Lyrics to Go Volume 3. The next project is an album from two MCs by the name of P Row and INF. It's entitled Short Stories and Tall Tales. Now, I highlighted this one because it is one of the more unique projects that I felt like was released in January. This project, there's a lot of humor to it. It's really about these two men who are like fathers, like dads. They have relationships, they had their family men, and they're like just making they're like making light of some of the challenges that they go through as grown men that are family men. It is very like, how you say, fatherhood, family relatable. So if you're looking for a project that you can listen to it, you'd be like, wow, like they actually like said that, right? They like actually kept it really real, like what fathers go through, or what, you know family men go through, and just like things that you go through in life that, you know you wouldn't think people would put on a record. Like, they do that on this. Like, so it's very like, it's one of the more humorous records that I've heard so far. And it's so like, you know people relatable, father relatable, man. Like, it's an interesting project, man. So go check this one out. It is available on Bandcamp, but it's also on digital streaming platforms. It has a lot of humor to it, and you're gonna be probably listening like, yo, wow, like they really made a song about that. Like, it's gonna definitely, I think, have that impact on you when you listen. So shout out to INF and P-Row for this project entitled short. I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm losing the title. Short stories and tall tales. And they even have a song where they talk about like a story from a short perspective, right? So they're very clever in terms of the subject matter that they talk about, which is why I think it's such a unique project. It's one of the more creative projects, right? So if I had to go with the creative category, it's in that creative category. But it's also like family, father, people relatable as well. So go check that out by INF and P Row. Short stories and tall tales. The next project is from an artist by the name of AJ Suede. Been definitely following AJ Suede for a little while now. I have to say though, I have not gotten into this album like from beginning to end. I just kind of like skimmed through it, but I like the aesthetic of this album. I like how the music sounds. AJ Suede is pretty easy to understand as an MC in terms of like of his lyrics. He has some intricacies with his lyrics as well, but he's very easy to understand. Like, you don't really have to be like, oh, let me run that back and see if I missed the word that he says. Now, that doesn't mean that like you can like get a lot of substance and a lot of depth from his music as well, right? But I'm just saying he's like easy to listen to. And I just like the aesthetic of this project. It has a very cinematic, soulful sound as well. It's more on the creative end, I would consider. So, go check it out. It's called Metatron's Cube by AJ Suede, and the producer is Televangelist. That's his name. So check that out. Next project is by Equipto and Brycon, entitled Can't Stay Perched. This album, I think I found out about it on Bandcamp, but I believe it's now on digital streaming platforms as well. So this one as another project I really got to get into. I'll be honest with you, there are some projects that I have not really listened to thoroughly, but I will say on first listen, I felt intrigued. I felt like there were at least 4 tracks like in playing back to back that I was like, okay, I could dig this. I could get with this. I believe these two artists are from the West Coast. Equipto is the MC, Brycon is the producer. And I like this. This has a very sort of like Planet Asia type vibe to me. It has that, what's that production crew that Planet Asia usually works with a lot? Man, I'm forgetting their name. Oh my gosh, I'm forgetting their name. But it has that raw edge, that raw cinematic West Coast edge in terms of the music. And I really like it. I think it sounds the message, the music is thought provoking. There's some social political content in here too. And it's just the energy is dope, man. Like it's a dope, solid project, man. So I think if you're into, man, why am I forgetting their name? Let me just do a quick search because I think it's good that you know the production, team that I'm talking about. Um, man, forgetting their name. I gotta get this, y'all. Oh man, I'm forgetting their name. And it's like I know it's like it's right there, it's at the tip of my tongue, you know. But either way, check this out. I think it's a solid release, man, and it's available on digital streaming platforms as well. This is another project. I believe this project is released on everybody's hip hop label. So shout out to MC Till and them. It's by Iomus Morad and Moro Gariazo. It's called City of Wind. I think it's an EP. It's not that long, but another solid effort. More on the boom bap side of things, also thought provoking. Just another project to check out. It's on Bandcamp and digital streaming platforms. No. I think it's only on Bandcamp right now. So check this one out. City of Wind. And this one is by an artist. I think he's from the Massachusetts area. His name is Who's That? And it's called Anything Is Everything. And it is available on Bandcamp. And I think it's now on digital streaming platforms. Yes, on digital streaming platforms as well. I really like this project. I think what really stands out is this artist, like his vocals, his people relatable lyrics, just music from the perspective of a black man, right, in America, and just having some like people relatable subject and thought provoking, and also some uplifting and inspiring subject on this project as well. The beats are pretty cool too. I don't know if I feel like it has like a soulful, more of a like a laid back soulful vibe on these beats, but I just like what he's representing on here. I'm a big fan of artists who are making music that has something thoughtful to say, something that's uplifting or inspiring. So if you are an artist and you have that approach, you're always gonna get a good listen from me. As long as I come across your music, you're always gonna get a good listen from me because I feel like that's what hip hop needs. I see a lot of bandwagoning in hip hop, and a lot of music centered around like either the gangster music or the materialism, and people really gravitate towards that stuff. And I feel like, you know, I'm not telling people what to listen to, but I feel like hip hop more than ever needs that balance, and it needs that uplifting side to be shown more. So I'm trying to do that more with the platform Out the Box Media. And I think this is a very uplifting, inspiring project to check for. I mean, look at that. Look at the cover, man. The brother's on here with his family, you know what I mean? So dope. So this next project, I really like this one, is from a Detroit artist by the name of Drew Prince. I found out about this on Bandcamp, but it's also on digital streaming platforms. It's called Suburban City Kids. And I love his approach with this because he chose to talk about his experience as a black kid growing up in the suburbs. And you don't really hear that too much, right? Like you hear about obviously the, black kids coming up in the hood, which is a real thing. And I love to hear projects like that. But I thought it was cool for him to be very genuine and just share his story. And I like this album. Like, I think the beats are awesome. I'm not sure if it's him doing the beats or if it's other people. But I really like this album. Like, the beats are so dope on here. And he has a style that is unique as well. Like, his voice, like on first listen, it might not grab you that much, but when you listen more, you're like, wow, like he has a unique voice. And I like what I'm hearing with Drew Prince. So Go check this one out, man. I like it. I like his transparency, him just keeping it real, in terms of his lyrics, even though he's talking about his story, as a suburban kid. Like, I like the fact that still, like, a lot of his music is still relatable because it's still a young black person giving you their story. So I love, like, what he stands for in terms of the message, the thought-provoking the thought-provoking content, the relatable music, and the beats are very, like, they have, like, a really nice soulful Detroit vibe to them. So I got to give it up to him, man. Shout out to Drew Prince. Check out this new project out now. All right, this one is an EP. It is from Lando. Is his name Lando Chill? Yeah, Lando Chill. So I'm familiar with Lando Chill through his projects that he put out on Mellow Music Group throughout the years in the past. So automatically I wanted to give this project a listen, and I really liked it. Like, the beats on here are fresh. His rhyming is fresh. Just a good thought-provoking effort from him. It's entitled "If I'm Being Honest." It's an EP. It's not that long, but I was actually thrilled to hear this project. I still got to go back and listen to it, but I thought it was a solid effort. So go check that one out. The next one is from an MC by the name of Bamboo D Asiatic. It's called Reclamation. And what's cool about this project is actually produced by Superstition. So if you're familiar with, like, underground hip hop, most likely you know about Superstition as an MC. He's such a dope, talented MC. But I didn't know that he actually made beats. I don't know. I don't know how I didn't know that Superstition produced. So I love the fact to hear that he did beats on here, and his beats are on point. It's very boom bap, it's soulful. Another thought provoking project, and Superstition makes some appearances on here, as an MC as well. So that was dope, and it's just a straightforward project. Like, a lot of the projects that I showed so far today, like I said, they have a lot in common in terms of it just being thought provoking, boom bap, and just an overall raw hip hop listen. I think this project does a good job with that too. This next project is called Calm. I'm sorry, it's by the group Calm, and it's called Conversations with a Willow Tree. And I believe Calm is a MC producer duo. I'm forgetting their names, but big ups to these two artists, man. This was a good album. It's a concept project, which I always love concept projects. So it's about let me go to the post because I don't want to mess up the names, man. Let me go to the post that I have about this. Um, it's this project is on Bandcamp, but it's also on digital streaming platforms. And like I said, it's by a duo by the name of Calm, right? And they comprise of MC. His name is Time, and the producer's name is Awareness. And it features artists like Nico Is, Micah 9, Shaynor, and more. And the album is inspired by MC Time's experience finding comfort in a willow tree he would drive by on his way to work. The album description says after he recorded the self-titled song Conversations with a Willow Tree, he learned that the tree was cut down. The album is an ode to a willow tree. And to me, it's a thought-provoking project of music, and now available on Bandcamp and digital streaming platforms. So it is inspired by his experience, coming home with this willow tree. So that's as much as I'll give you in terms of, my little synopsis of this project right here, because I still got to go back and listen to it, thoroughly. But I like where they're going with the subject, and I like that they use something like a willow tree to base the concept over, so it's a thought-provoking project. The beats are pretty subtle, but they have a very, how you say, it's like a you know quiet, cinematic, soulful vibe to it. Like, it's very subtle, so you can really get into the music. So go check this one out. It's by Calm. It's entitled Conversations with a Willow Tree. All right. This is EP from Guilty Simpson and Fro. So you guys know Guilty Simpson, MC from Detroit, and this one is entitled Guilty by Association. It is a short EP. I think it's about 4 tracks, but I like it because I like this music because Guilty Simpson really shines on here. His music is also very thought provoking, very real in terms of him talking about some of his experiences, things he's experienced during the pandemic. Um, Really good effort. It's short, but the beats are good. I think it's only like 4 tracks. So give this one, check this one out when you get a chance. All right. This next project is by I Self Divine entitled That Which Is Hidden. Another really good project by I Self Divine. He put out a project last year that I thought was dope as well. This is a concept project, I believe, and you really just got to take your time and listen to it, man. It is one of those projects that I feel like you will need to sit with. So when you get a chance, take a listen. The production sounds really good as well. It's very cinematic, soulful as well, and I think you'll appreciate it if you give it a good listen. This next project is by an artist named Stanley Ipkiss. It's titled Among Other Things. It is available and on Bandcamp and digital streaming platforms. Another really smooth, thought-provoking, people-relatable project. The production on here is really smooth and more on I would say like on a soulful tip, but it works. It works. So I like this project by Stanley Ipkiss. Also available on Bandcamp and digital streaming platforms. This next project is a project that I found out about just recently. So when I did my top, you know, albums and EPs of 2022 in the month of January, I didn't include it initially, but I found out that this actually came out in January, so I did include it to the list. And I like this. This is by a female MC by the name of Ali Vine, and she did an awesome job with this, man. She the message on here is really like dealing with the times, and she puts a lot of thought into the music, and the subject matter is very like um well, put together. I think this is a project that you'll have to sit with and really just get the message. I don't know that it's a concept album off the bat, but I feel like the subject matter that she's talking about um, may feel like this is a concept album. But take a listen when you get a chance. It's called American Winter, and it's available on Bandcamp, and it's also available on digital streaming. It's also available on digital streaming platforms as well. The next project is from Napoleon the Legend. Napoleon the Legend is such a consistent MC. He puts out music after music after music. He does not stop. And when I found out that he was putting out this album, I was like, okay, dope. And it's actually produced by Just Music Beats, and it's called Modus Operandi. If you're already familiar with Napoleon the Legend, you kind of know what you're getting with this. But in terms of like his sound, he's very intricate. He definitely taps into his thoughtful rhymes. He can be very clever with his words, but very, very thought provoking. And I think this album really sets that standard as well. So go check that out if you like brother Napoleon the Legend. All right, so I want to get to some of the singles that came out. So those are all of the albums that I thought. There are some albums and EPs that I may be missing, but when I was putting this PowerPoint together, I got to a point where I was like, I'm putting too much. I got to just get a certain amount up. So you'll see some other albums on the list on my website, outtheboxmedia.com, which I also linked to in the description of this video as well. But I just wanted to I put a lot of what I thought was like good projects that came out in the month of January. So I want to talk about the singles that came out of the month of January. And you can find pretty much all these singles and more in my Spotify playlist. It's called Out the Box. The Spotify thing is Out the Box Hip Hop. But if you go the playlist, it's linked on the description, so you can find it there as well. All right, so I really like this single by Robert Glasper, Black Superhero, featuring Killer Mike, BJ the Chicago Kid, and Big Crit. This single sounded so good, and it got me so amped for the Black Radio 3 album, because I think they're up to Black Radio 3. So I can't wait to hear this. I love when Robert Glasper puts out music. It is always very soulful, jazzy, and he has a way of getting like the best out of the MCs and the vocalists. BJ Chicago Kid is one of my favorite vocalists, and he really shines on this song. And every MC, Killer Mike and Big Crit, they definitely do their thing on this track. So check this out. Black Superhero is available on digital streaming platforms. Shout out to Robert Glasper for this wonderful song. The next single I want to highlight is by Big Crit. It's called So Cool. He actually did a video for this, and I love the vibe of this. It sounds like something Outkast would do, right? You know, if you listen to the hook, you know, it's a Sleepy Brown kind of vibe. Like, I really love it. It just makes so much sense for Big Crit. He does this thing. His flow is like awesome on this as well. And he just does this thing with the singing on the hook, and it's just a really feel good record. And you know, you'll definitely get what I mean when you hear it if you haven't heard it yet. So go check that out. So Cool by Big Crit. Also, all right, so this track right here, I can't front, man. When I saw Benny the Butcher put out a new song, I kind of skipped over it, like because they put out so much music, so I was like, I didn't get a chance to check this one out. But I was in the barbershop and I heard this record come on, but no, I actually heard it before I was in the barbershop, and I was like, okay, this is dope. But one day I was in the barbershop and I heard this record come on local radio, and I'm like, yo, this beat sounds so dope. But I'm like, yo, this got to be like one of them producers. Maybe it's Darren Joe or somebody that is in their camp, or somebody new in their camp. But I wasn't thinking it was Alchemist. So I looked it up and I saw it was Alchemist. I was like, yo, Alchemist, you did it again. And I just was like, wow, man, like the production on this song is so dope. It is probably my favorite production I've heard from another artist this year. Outside of my production, right? Because I did some dope production this year, but I really, really like this beat. It's just such a dope beat. And Benny and J. Cole do their thing lyrically on this, man. So, yo, man, I think this is one of the records a lot of people have heard already. So if you haven't heard this record, yo, go check this one out. It's called, it's by Benny the Butcher, and it features, hold on, it's by Benny the Butcher, and it's entitled Johnny P's Caddy featuring J. Cole. Dope track that's produced by Alchemist. So Benny the Butcher featuring J. Cole, produced by the Alchemist. The song is entitled Johnny P. Caddy. Check that one out. It's on digital streaming platforms. This is another single by a brother that I'm very familiar with. We actually got a chance to interview him on our Out the Box TV platform on Out the Box Talks last year. His name is Yazid Divine. The track is called Quiet Majority. I really like this track. It is produced by Preservation. So if you know Preservation, he's produced for Ka, he's produced for Mos Def, Yasin Bey, and he also actually did an album with Yazid Divine. So check this single out. If this is an indicator that Yazid, you and Preservation are going to do a project together, this is a good thing, man. I would love to hear y'all do another project together, but I know y'all did a project together before. Shout out to you, Yazid. I love this track. I love the beat. Your vocals on here are so clear. The rhyming is so dope, brother, man. Big ups to you on this record. I like this track, and I want to highlight this one, Quiet Majority by Yazid Divine, produced by Preservation. This is all right. So I just showed y'all some of my singles that I like. I want to go into some of the projects that was released already in the month of February, right? I wasn't gonna do this, but because you know, I figured, hey, why not? Because we are in the present time, we're in February. Let me give you what I've compiled so far, the bit that I've compiled so far in terms of like the best projects I think that have come out in the month of February already. And we're talking about last week and this week, right? Because we just got into February. So this project is an album by an artist. This is my first time learning of the artist this year. His name is Lord Queso, and the album is called More Chores, and it's currently only on Bandcamp. Very well produced project. It is he taps into his journey, right? His journey of coming up in the streets and just the experience of you know living in the hood, right? And the things that you go through, the challenges and the obstacles, and just he's just it's very clear in terms of his vocals, the beats. Oh my goodness. I want to shout out the producers on this project, man. Let me get their names because the production on here is just so good. And I feel like this is an artist you're gonna hear a lot more from. I feel like he's had a following already, even though this is my first time learning of him. But you're probably gonna hear more of this artist. I like his voice is unique. He has his own style. He has his own flavor. It has sort of like this, you know, American Caribbean kind of flavor, And he's from Brooklyn, so I can feel like the Brooklyn vibe too, man, with the records, man, like this, diasporian African American Caribbean vibe too that even comes across in the lyrics. So I really value that, man. So the producers on here are Hagino and Christy Castro, and also Jesse Raxon. Hygino and Christy Castro. Oh my goodness. What I love about this project is on first listen, it's just like it goes like almost like a story that you're listening to, man. And the tracks are short, but the beats just hit the right way, man. Like I really like the way this project sounds, man. So go check this out. It's only on Bandcamp right now. It's by MC Lord Queso, and it's called More Chores. It's definitely an album I'm gonna sit with some more and listen to more. But I think there's not a lot of projects that just hit you right off the bat. And like you're like, oh man, I like this. I like where this is going in terms of the vocals as well as the production. Like I could tell that he put time and effort to craft this so that it didn't just sound like a bunch of songs put together. It was like literally, a project and a story he was trying to tell with this. So yeah, man. Big ups to Lord Queso for this album, More Chores. Again, it's only available on Bandcamp. So hopefully it does come to digital streaming platforms sooner or later. But right now, I think it's a project that you definitely should check for on Bandcamp. I think if you like it, is worthy support. All right, so we're gonna go to the next one. Shout out to Substantial and Katie Fox. This one is more of an instrumental project. I didn't really put much instrumental projects on here, but because I feel like Substantial's output has been really, really strong lately. And I love where he takes it in terms of his versatility production wise. I wanted to highlight this one. This one, we've been hearing about the singles from this in the month of January, but the album officially came out in February. And it's by Substantial, who's an MC and producer, but he produced pretty much, I think, most, if not all of the tracks on here. And Katie Fox is like an illustrator slash writer. So they kind of collaborated on this project. And it's mostly instrumentals. It's called Animal Arithmetic Volume 1. And very solid, very, cool, mellow instrumental vibe. And there's at least one track where Substantial is rapping on here. So it's the dope project, man. Check it out. It's on Bandcamp and digital streaming platforms as well. All right. So the next project that has come out in the month of February that just came out not too long ago, is from a sister by the name of C Red and a producer by the name of The Roots. And the album is called Air. And actually, it's an EP. It's called Air. And I have to say, this sister shines. She is extremely clear as a lyricist. She is sharp. Her music is very thought provoking. It's uplifting. It's inspiring. She is the complete package. This project is short, but the production is rich. It is soulful. It captures you from the jump. And I really like this, man. It's probably going to be up in my top 10 when I do my best projects of the month of February, man. So shout out to C Red and The Roots. You did a wonderful job on this project called The Air. So big up to y'all on that EP. The next one is from a very, very known super lyricist. He goes by the name of Cannabis. I have to give it up to Cannabis. He put out a project in December. I'm forgetting the name of it. That when I heard it, I was like, oh, I like it. I like where this is going. I did not know he was going to come right back in December, after December, and come with a new project that sounds to me even better. But maybe I need to go back and listen to that project because I thought that project was good. But just off the jump, I feel like this one is better. But overall, to me, Cannabis has not lost a step. Lyrically, he has that same energy, that same fire, and that same hungriness, and he gives it on this project. And you'll notice when you get to that second track, that third track, you'll see that he packs a powerful punch again lyrically. And he's just cool to listen to, man. Like, you could learn stuff from his music, and he doesn't put you to sleep. Like, it's just bars and lyrics, and just rawness. So shout out to Cannabis for his new album, One Step Closer to Infinity. I thought it was a solid effort. And go check it out, folks, when you get a chance. It's on DSPs, and it's on digital streaming platforms, and I believe it's also on Bandcamp. All right. The next project is an album from Funky DL. Funky DL is a producer MC from the UK. I got a chance to interview him this year for Out the Box Talks. He was actually my final interview with an artist for the Out the Box Talk show in December. So it was cool to get a project from him. It has a Valentine theme to it. So it's like, love and relationships for the most part. But the production is awesome. It sounds rich. Funky DL does a wonderful job, like, rhyming on a lot of these tracks. You pull it off, bro. You did it again. And I really like the effort that he put in on this. So go check this one out by Funky DL. And is entitled The In and Out of Love of the Love Tape. The In and Out of Love Tape. So check that out. A Funky DL. All right. So the next project I want to shout out is Signs of Life. Because they put out a new album today, actually, called Change Your Views. I think it came out on Bandcamp yesterday. But these are two MC producers that put out a really solid project. It's called Change Your Views. Very thought-provoking, very uplifting, just a dope talent overall, man. So go check this project out. Love when artists make good music, man, and thought-provoking music and put substance in their music. So go check this out by Signs of Life. Change Your Views. Then the next project is by Saba, right? And it's called Few Good Things. I think this is a really good project too. The production on here sounds awesome. Like the way where Saba is capable of taking it. Check out this new project by him, and it's called Few Good Things. I like it. It's really dope. And then last but not least, I had to do this, right? This is from this is for me. I put out a project, like I said earlier this year in January. It's called Compassion, Unity, and Healing. I rhymed over it, and I also produced the project. So when you get a chance, go check that out. It's on Bandcamp. It's my contribution. Just the subject matter is just really my thoughts on what's where I would like to see the world get to, right, on how I feel about the world today. So go check that out. It's on Bandcamp. I may put it on SoundCloud, but I might hold off a little bit before I put it on digital streaming platforms, you know. So, yo, man, I had a good time. I hope you guys enjoyed this presentation tonight. I know it was a lot, but go check out some of this music when you get a chance. I think you guys will appreciate the music. You know, and even if it's something that you don't like, I think at some point you'll be like, okay, at least I got some things that I like and some things that I don't like. So yeah, man. Thank you for tuning in. Shout out to everyone that tuned in live. I'm going to sign off for the night, but keep it locked. I'm going to try to do more YouTube videos regularly, try to do more content. I know I've been said that before, but I really want to try to get that going so I can stay connected and stay you know, with the folks, man. So thank y'all again for tuning in to Out the Box TV. I hope that those projects that I shared with you are projects that you know, you are interested in checking out, and I hope, you know, you enjoy the music, you know. That's what it's all about, you know, being able to get good music that you enjoy. And hopefully, you know, you walk away learning something new about some of these artists, you know. But I will check y'all on the next video. I just want to say peace, love, and light. Stay focused, stay healthy, stay safe. And I am out of here.